If you've just switched on your TV sets and you're saying, hey, what has actually happened in these elections? Well, here's the potted version of that. It's a TRS landslide in Telangana. MNF has been in Mizoram. Coming to the heartland big states, a Congress landslide in Chhattisgarh that has probably taken everyone by surprise. There in Rajasthan, looks as if it's going to be a Congress government. 102 is what the Congress has. Halfway is about 100. And in the others, there are at least 7 Congress rebels who can come forward to give support. BSP potentially could give support. So I'd be very surprised as of this moment if it did not end up being a Congress government in Rajasthan. Who's going to be the chief minister, of course, is an entirely big question. You know, those are the 7 rebels who are there from the Ashok Gehlot camp. And as Sonal was saying, is that going to be an important factor? Partly will depend on whether the Congress can hold up above 100 and who those 100 owe their allegiance to. So that's Rajasthan, which is, of course, one of the big questions that there are. Here are some of the others. You've got Bharat Vahini has got 2. You know, we may not actually end up requiring all of them from a Congress party point of view to be able to form a government. Just as a pure exercise, if the Congress had to do it, they may well feel that they've got enough from 102. But in case some of these others are required, you know, then that's essentially what's going to end up being called for. Now, Madhya Pradesh, of course, is that really interesting state. Anybody's game at this point. It's a dead level right now, actually. Even though the BJP is 110, Congress is 109, and that's pretty much what the position is. We were discussing the impact all of this is going to have on the national mood. Before I do that, just want to go across to Uma Sudhir, who's there in Telangana. Uma, is everyone digesting what may well have led to this landslide sweep? You know, for the TRS out there, and also Congress party starting to complain. I believe they've gone in a delegation and said the EVMs may have malfunctioned there. Bit surprising how the EVMs malfunction in Telangana but don't malfunction across the border in Chhattisgarh. But hey, technology is a mystery to most people.
Yes, indeed, Vikram. This place, in fact, was a riot of celebration till just a short while ago. People dancing on the road. We are, in fact, in front of the TRS party headquarters, and this is where we are expecting K. Chandrasekhar Rao to arrive anytime now. He is going to be holding his press conference, and KCR 2.0 has proved to be a bigger blockbuster than KCR at the time that he managed to, in fact, get Telangana in 2014. That, I must point out, has come as a surprise to some people in his own party, because the propaganda of the People's Front, whether you blame it on Chandrababu Naidu or whether you blame it on the fact that the Congress and the Telugu Desam seem to have a negative agenda of only removing a KCR and a TRS from power, and we are not able to put through their own positive kind of manifesto for the people of Telangana. Right now, KCR is looking at a second term in office, and tomorrow being a very auspicious day, I just a short while ago met his astrologer friend Devendra Sharma, who in fact said that tomorrow has been a very auspicious day, and K. Chandrasekhar Rao is going to be sworn in tomorrow at the Raj Bhavan. Right now, those preparations are also on. Whether he will choose to announce his cabinet members as well tomorrow itself, whether he will include women in that has been a big point of criticism. All that still waits to be seen. One of the women, of course, who is going to be possibly made a minister is somebody who's been a former speaker. All that will, of course, wait for tomorrow. But right now, big day of celebration. His son KTR had told us that his father is in a Virat Kohli-esque form, and it does look like he's almost close to that 100 figure that they had spoken about. He has stopped only about a dozen short of that 100, and big leaders of the Congress, in fact, getting vanquished or being biting the dust, including a Revanth Reddy who was trailing for the longest time, DK Aruna and others. That is something that will lead to some introspection in the Congress itself. But Congress leaders telling us that the alliance that they have with the Telugu Desam, this is not going to be the end of the road, because they are looking at the national picture, and there were very regional factors in Telangana because of which the alliance does not seem to have worked between the Congress and the Telugu Desam in this particular area. Back to you.
All right, so Congress maintaining in Telangana that the alliance with the TDP will continue despite what seems to be a really stunning victory there by the TRS. Sonal, back to you to try and see who's forming the government in Rajasthan. You know, I think it's interesting. I'm just going to pause you for a minute, Sonal, because I want to ask about how many more rounds do you think there would be to go at this point? But I mean, it's 102 right now, hanging in there at roughly that position for the Congress party. Is it increasingly becoming safe for the Congress party to assume they've probably won Rajasthan, or is it still too early as more and more rounds get counted?
I think we are close to the end of counting in Rajasthan, which is not true of, say, MP. And so there is slight consolidation. This 102 figure hasn't changed now for, what, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So, which is quite long, because otherwise you see all the numbers in MP keep changing every minute. So this seems reasonable. I'm not sure whether they'll get over 100 or they'll come in just below 100. But I think with those 7 Congress rebels, I think we can say that.
So unlikely, you think, at this stage, at 3 o'clock right now, and not moving too much, unlikely for there to be like a 20-seat or a 10-seat switch, which would then bring the BJP into striking distance. So it's going to be, in all probability now, a Congress government in Rajasthan. Still not very sure where the Chief Minister is. Sonal, well, just as we said that, just as we said all of that, ticked down to 101 there on the LFS, having stayed firm on 102 for all this time, it suddenly ticks down to 101. So there you have it. Sonal, the sense that you're picking up out there also, is it by now a lot of rounds of counting are done, so numbers are not going to go very far away from that. So probably would be a Congress government, almost certainly would be a Congress government in Rajasthan, just not very sure who the Chief Minister is, but then that's a big question which perhaps will have to be answered tomorrow. Is that at least now looking reasonably certain in Rajasthan, it will be a Congress government?
Yes, that's how it's looking like, you know, Vikram, but we don't know, you know, you never know until the final round has been counted in. Let me just tell you what's been happening since morning here in Rajasthan. It started with an early cheer for the Congress party here. It went into a lot of fear for them later, as then they realized that they were closing up to the BJP. Also, what happened later, in the morning we saw a lot of firecrackers, sweets being distributed, then there was a lull. Then again, this is time when they have picked up now. Soon as the number went up to 101, that's when we saw all of them go berserk. They came out with all their not so eco-friendly patakas. They went out to the streets. And as a fallout of that, both, now that they have a significant number, significantly sure of the fact that the Congress is forming government, now the race for the Chief Ministers has begun. And both the candidates, Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot, have left their residences and gone to meet the the Prabhari, which is the person who's been sent from the center, from the Congress leadership over there. His name is Mr. Venugopal, who's been sent by the Congress leader Rahul Gandhi to come here, get a mood of who the next Chief Minister will be. So now with a comfortable, number of seats in their kitty, both of them have gone to meet him. Now, who is Venugopal? What role will he play in all of this? Well, what I've been hearing, and it's just hearsay, good health warning over there at this point, he's said to be somebody who has Rahul Gandhi's ears. And at this moment, even if you speak to the central leadership of Congress, who have a fair idea of which way they will swing when it comes to a Chief Minister, they believe Sachin Pilot here in the state and Ashok Gehlot to be required more in the run-up to 2019. That's a sentiment we keep hearing. Also, we are told, we were hearing from Sachin's camp mostly, so you can take it with a pinch of salt. They believe that the confidence with which Sachin Pilot came in here to Rajasthan 5 years ago and has been working here with a determined focus of only Rajasthan is because he had a word from Rahul Gandhi that once we win it first with the support of Ashok Gehlot, because that's not happening without it. Once that you have my say that, there will be a young leadership who will come into Rajasthan. So interesting facets into how this will develop, what is going to happen. Also, very interestingly, Rajasthan is the only state, Vikram, where both the faces of chief ministers haven't really met yet. You look at Madhya Pradesh, you look at other places at this point. Rajasthan, the only place where both the leaders, Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot, haven't met since the time the results started coming out. They haven't sat together, and both of them claim that we are in talks to the independents, saying that they can form and stake claim and to have the support of the independents. So let's see, it'll all come down to what Venugopal, the message that Venugopal takes to Rahul Gandhi. That meeting is tomorrow. Currently, both of them are meeting with Venugopal.
Yeah, that's one factor. I suspect the other factor will be looking at a list of the 101 MLAs who've actually won, going down that name by name and seeing whom they probably are ending up supporting. That may well also end up being an important factor. Shama Mohammed, let me just get you in from the Congress Party's point of view. Rajasthan increasingly looking as if it is going to be a Congress government, but again, both in Chhattisgarh and in Rajasthan, not crystal clear who the Congress Party would actually have as the leader or as the chief minister in that case. Even in Chhattisgarh, there are names that are coming to the surface, but it's not crystal clear who's going to be chief minister. Do you think that matters or doesn't matter at this stage?
See, at this stage, the most important thing is the Congress Party has won. It's won decisively in Chhattisgarh, will be winning Rajasthan, and Madhya Pradesh. In certain local channels, we are ahead compared to the Bharatiya Janata Party. So the most important thing, and the MLAs of each state will select who will be the chief minister of the party, along with the senior command, that this particular person will be the chief minister, and that's how it works. Now, the question which you had asked me last, I mean, I wanted to reply to that is, yes, the wind is blowing in a different direction for 2019. I can see it blowing towards the Congress parties and the allies, because for the simple reason, yesterday we saw Mr. Kotak saying that Notbandi was not the right thing to do. Mr. Uday Kotak is a big supporter of Mr. Narendra Modi, and he himself coming out at this point of time and saying that Notbandi was not the right thing to do. Number two, we have the RBI governor who was appointed by this government, by the BJP government, resigns all of a sudden without giving any reasons. So these things show that the wind is blowing definitely in the direction of the Congress Party. And also, let's keep in mind that rabble-rousers like Adityanath and their divisive politics does not work. People will give them befitting reply that if you divide and rule like the East India Company, we will not vote for you. We want to vote for Vikas, which you had promised us. We want to vote for a corruption-free government, which you had promised us, but till now you have not appointed a Lokpal. We have the UPA government in 2014 has enacted Lokpal, but you have not appointed Lokpal. These are the important things you came to power on, and to get black money back from abroad to India, whereas money has been going out from India to outside. You know, there is a 50% increase in Swiss bank accounts. So these are the important issues. So the wind is definitely blowing on the, and also the farmer distress, the most important thing. We cannot ignore
these elections are over. You have 5 months or 6 months to state all of this before the Lok Sabha election. So I'm sure all of that will be said. Shama, I know you're going to leave us fairly shortly. So thanks for joining us with that perspective. The winds of change are blowing, is what Shama said. Let me just get everyone's take on that particular thing. Sandeep, I just want to start with you. The winds, well, okay, we just lost Sandeep. Anilji? Yes, sir. Winds have started to change, and that's a, you know, by the way, that sometimes there's something, I mean, if I was Ravi Shastri right now commentating on this, which I'm not, I would say that sometimes momentum can become really important. I would also say that it's going down to the wire in Madhya Pradesh, which it is, but momentum is sometimes a very important thing. Has the momentum shifted?
मैं जो अभी इस रिजल्ट पे जो हमें पराजय छत्तीसगढ़ में मिला है, राजस्थान में हम थोड़ा पीछे रहे हैं, उसे हम स्वीकार कर रहे हैं, लेकिन मैं समाज की सारी बात को बहुत करीब से सुन रहा हूँ। इलेक्शन तो खत्म हो गया है, अगर करप्शन की इश्यू पे बात करेंगे, आरवाई पे बात करेंगे, रफाइल पे बात करेंगे, तो डिबेट बहुत लंबी हो जाएगी। ये पूरा इलेक्शन आप देखेंगे, लोकल इश्यूज पर पूरा इलेक्शन है, और 42% वोट हमारा मध्य प्रदेश में है, 39% हमारा राजस्थान में है, और छत्तीसगढ़ में भी ओवरऑल हमारा वोटिंग है। हम जरूर कम हुए हैं, लेकिन इस इलेक्शन ने एक चीज तय कर दिया है, प्रजातंत्र बहुत खूबसूरत है कि इस इलेक्शन में नॉर्थ टू साउथ, कटक से अटक के बीच में भारतीय जनता पार्टी एक राजनीतिक धुरी बन गई है। एक तरफ भाजपा रहेगी, बाकी जगह दूसरे दल रहेंगे। आप देखेंगे कि ये जो होलिका स्टेट्स है, यहाँ पर बेशक से हमें थोड़ा कम वोट पड़ा है, लेकिन क्या है, धुरी में हम है। जहां पर कांग्रेस का विकल्प मिलता है लोगों को, जैसे उत्तर प्रदेश में, बिहार के अंदर, बंगाल के अंदर, लोग उधर टर्न कर जाते हैं। लेकिन इस पूरे इलेक्शन में तय हो गया है, भारत की राजनीति में हम भारत के अंदर एक बिल्कुल मध्य में खड़े हैं, हम हैं, या और एक तरफ बाकी लोग हैं। हमें आप हल्के में समर्थन
दे, मोमेंटम का क्या असर पड़ता है? अब एजाज को देख लीजिए, ये भाजपा का समर्थन कर रहे थे अभी तक, and now Ejaz, you've just quit the BJP. saying divisive politics. We've just seen a Rajya Sabha MP from the BJP saying we may have shifted too far from the development that we came to power in 2014 to talking about statues and other such issues. Is the momentum shifting, and is there going to be a change in winds?
No, it's very important to understand that the Prime Minister won the last election on an inclusive campaign and a campaign for development. It was for a different kind of politics that the UPA too had done. It was not about division of people. He talked about inclusion. In fact, from the Red Fort, he said all the divisive issues there should be a moratorium.
For
so
10 years.
that was for 10 years. I mean, that's what we talk. And today you see every issue is about a Hindu-Muslim debate. It's about something. It's about Ali Bajrang Bali. Owaisi says gets in Allah.
No.
I mean, are we trying to demean the creators? Are we trying to get them down to our level to indulge in politics? I mean, definitely not. This is something that doesn't sell. It has limited use.
Lord Meghnath Desai, would you agree with that? And before, and then I'm going to get everyone else.
think,
So Lord Meghnath Desai joining us.
Yeah.
Is this signaling any change? Are you seeing, should today be viewed as something that is going to change the discourse in the run-up to the general elections?
I think the big difference is that at last India will have a two-party system. Now, we have alternated between Congress dominance, and it looked like between 2014 and 2018, BJP was going to be the dominant party for now and forever. Now Congress has come back, surprisingly very strongly.
Congress has not yet come back to
No,
their
no,
two. I
you
mean,
know,
at a national level, it's still not a challenger.
Congress has come back more than what 6 months ago or even 3 months ago anybody was going to say, right? So let's say from 44, Congress will come to about 150, which is not a bad thing. And so now we may have a two-party system plus lots of small parties. But we now beginning to have, for the first time since independence, a two-party system.
It will definitely be two
I would
coalitions, whichever one gets the domination.
Yeah,
Nalini?
I just say that, you know, if you look at the vote share in these elections, the Congress seems to have gained something like 7 to 8%, maybe a little bit less in one of the states. But if you have a 7 to 8% swing, net swing of any party, then you should pause and say what is happening. The second thing that I notice is that the voters have got, you know, they've got two states absolutely on edge. You've got a majority of 1. If Congress is at 101, it's at 101, majority of 1. And in Madhya Pradesh, it'll be similar. So are we saying that we are going also for instability or, you know, somewhat vulnerable governments? And is this strengthening democracy or weakening it? I'm not terribly sure which way it is, but the voters seem to be saying we are not now going to, it's a sweep in Chhattisgarh, of course, and in Telangana, but what are the voters saying? And this swing towards the Congress should really be analyzed. If it's 7 to 8%, whatever the results, it's vote share which is extremely important.
I want to just add to what Nalini said. Obviously, the days of sweeping elections is obviously coming to an end. Unless you get
Hang on, we've just had 3 sweeps today.
Yeah.
You know, Chhattisgarh is a sweep.
I'm
Telangana is a
talking
sweep.
about the Hindi heartland. I'm talking about the Hindi heartland where the majority
Chhattisgarh is a sweep.
Chhattisgarh, yes. Chhattisgarh, yes, was a sweep. But at the same time, the way Shivraj Singh Chauhan is holding out, it's remarkable that the BJP still has inherent strength out there. So it's very important to understand, unless you get the coalition partners on board, you stop losing allies and gain new allies, it'll be a difficult election.
Having said that, Baj, I think it should also be pointed out. So on these issues, these are states that have always been a bit on knife's edge. Actually, look at that, 47%, 31 in Chhattisgarh. That's a huge 10% drop for the BJP in Chhattisgarh. That's a huge drop for them. 7% up for the BSP, but that's of course together with Ajit Jogi. Congress picking up 7%. So 7%, 6%.
No, I think you have to look at the impact of this in the general election. These 3 states, Rajasthan, MP and Chhattisgarh, the BJP won 62 out of 65 seats.
Yeah.
That's a little less than 1/4 of the seats that the BJP won in total, right? If these are the kind of votes you're going to get in a general election, well, the BJP is not going to win 62 seats. Now, if they don't win 62 seats here, they're already below a majority on their own. So it's not a BJP majority. Right. Then you've got what will happen in UP and other states.
In any case, UP after this, so here's the other reason why the momentum and the bandwagon effect happens. After a result like this, Anilji, and then I'm going to throw it to Mr. Qureshi. Anilji, after a result like this, what starts to happen then is, you already heard the Congress saying, no, we're going to stay together with the TDP. After a result like this, the BSP starts to say, unlike JDU, so why did Nitish Kumar go across? He said there's nobody who can possibly challenge Narendra Modi in 2019, which is why he went across to that side. Now, after a result like this, you may well have the Samajwadi Party and the BSP saying, we better stick together in UP. We think there's something going to happen out here. If that happens, there's another 40 seats down. And suddenly the BJP just in Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh and UP is down nearly 80 seats from where it was last time. That's 200 then.
मैं सबसे पहले मैं सर की बात का एक जवाब दूं. इस इलेक्शन से जनरल इलेक्शन को आप कंपैरिजन मुझे ख्याल में बहुत ज़्यादा कर रहे हैं तो जाती कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि विधानसभा का चुनाव और कॉर्पोरेशन का चुनाव और लोकसभा के चुनाव के पैटर्न में बहुत ज़्यादा फर्क होता है. और आप देखेंगे कि वो जो चुनाव 2019 का होगा वो बिल्कुल मोदी जी के फेस पर होगा. मोदी जी को आज भी बहुत सारे ऐसे एग्जिट पोल हुए हैं या ऐसे सर्वे हुआ है कि लोग स्टेट में किसी को चुन लेते हैं, लेकिन देश के अंदर वो मोदी जी को छोड़ना नहीं चाहते हैं. इसलिए इस इलेक्शन से आप मोदी जी के व्यक्तित्व को नहीं आंक सकते हैं. दूसरी बात, मेरे पास भी ये सीटें आंकड़ा शायद 40 सीटों का ऐसा है जहां 500, 700, 1000 वोटों पर हुआ है मध्य प्रदेश के अंदर. लेकिन तो भी ये तय हो गया इस इलेक्शन के अंदर कि भारत के अंदर एक मुख्य पार्टी हम लोग रहेंगे. अब रही बात हमारे कोalition को लेकर के, जो हमारे सहयोगी हैं उसको लेकर पार्टी अपनी चिंता करेगी कि हमको अपने सहयोगियों को साथ लेकर के चलना है और आगे बढ़ना है. और हम जो हमारे साथ हमारे विचारधारा के साथ सहमति रखते हैं वो लोग आएंगे तो हम लोग आगे फ्यूचर के अंदर अच्छा इलेक्शन को कर सकते हैं.
हमारे अंदर कोई ऐसा अहंकार नहीं है. 62 seats in these 3 states on the basis of what you've seen today.
मैं आपको फिर कह रहा हूं कि जो हमको सुधार करना चाहिए हम उस पर सुधार करेंगे और यूपी के अंदर पहले से ज्यादा बेहतर लोकसभा के अंदर प्रदर्शन होगा हमारा. ऐसे मध्य प्रदेश, छत्तीसगढ़, राजस्थान में भी होगा. हो सकता है इस पर पब्लिक ने कुछ हमको शायद जगाने का कोशिश किया है और हम 3-4 महीने में जाग जाएंगे और अच्छा रिजल्ट आएगा उसका.
Okay, Mr. Qureshi, just want to ask you that before I go into break, if you look at that, it's back to 110 by the way in Madhya Pradesh, so it's really going down to the wire. Mr. Qureshi, these 3 states, if you look at history, look at the last 15 years, tended to vote in the same manner in the Lok Sabha as they have voted in the Vidhan Sabha. It's happened in all 3 of these heartland states for 15 years as a general pattern. Yes, there is a factor that Anilji was referring to, which is that there will be a Narendra Modi factor, and do people want to vote him back as Prime Minister? All of those issues may change it. But by and large, would you expect some of these results to be replicated to some extent? I mean, the BJP, for example, has got 10 out of 11 seats in Chhattisgarh. After drubbing like that, could they hope to get 10 seats again? Is that going to be unlikely?
I think clubbing all 3 states for a trend, I think is not a good idea, because voters respond to the performance. Now, Madhya Pradesh CM has been performing well. He has got 3 terms, and maybe even gets a 4th term. And Rajasthan behaved differently. Therefore, to club them all together, I don't think it's a good idea.
Well, not that many people felt Raman Singh was not doing that badly. You know, Chawal, Baba, all the rest of it.
But let me explain just the one thing which has not yet come up in the debate is, now the trend is changing slightly from this to the other. This is happening because unlike the ballot paper days when we used to take 10 ballot boxes randomly and mix them, so the trend continued through the day. Here in this case what happens is that there is a state and the polling booths are recorded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 west to east, and as we are going the rounds are going from west to east, so the region sometimes reflects differently politically. So the changes, the radical changes in the trend can still be not ruled out because the way we are territorially moving from.
But we've been seeing the map starting to get colored all across the board. So you're seeing even within the constituency, within the constituency it changes.
Yeah. So you'll have, say, scheduled caste areas or ST areas within a constituency, and you'll have slightly urbanized areas. So you'll get different.
So just as you say that, I just want to draw your attention again to that now. A dramatic shift seems to be happening now in Madhya Pradesh once again. It's been topsy-turvy. Congress now ahead. Congress 111, BJP 108. And on that,
to stick my neck out, if they have a 7% gain in votes, the Congress should end at about 111-12 seats, which won't be a majority, but will be close.
How much was that?
112.
Yeah, they're getting a 5% swing then.
And by the way, Baj, that also means it's been a fairly it's interesting that there's been a fairly uniform swing. So we keep saying local factors. 7% in Rajasthan, 7% Madhya Pradesh, 7%.
5-6%.
5 to 6. So between 5 to 7% in all three states is what it's looking like for the Congress party. Dr. Desai, you want to say?
I think one has to say
yeah.
that the qualitative change Rahul Gandhi made to the ideology of the Congress party, it's one of the biggest shift ever, that he has made Congress now into a Hindu party. Simple. Now, I know from my experience in Labour Party, the Labour Party after Thatcher decided, forget socialism, move to the centre, play their game and win. And this is the biggest problem for the BJP, because on development everybody will compete. But in 2014, BJP had the advantage, Hindu nationalism plus development. Now Hindu nationalism is gone. Congress wala bhi wo kar sakta hai.
Okay, that's a really interesting.
That is the biggest
a really
problem for
interesting
BJP.
and possibly provocative theory, which I am going to analyze at great length. But I need to slip into a break because Madhya Pradesh is now, I feel like just putting that up and watching it like a cricket score, because it went up to 112 for the Congress and 106 for the BJP. Swung back in a wild fashion once again. So it's going all over the place. 110 Congress right now, 108 BJP. Keep your eye on Madhya Pradesh.
Absolutely.
Keep your eye on Rajasthan also, by the way, which is now ticked over to 103 for the Congress party. Looking now almost certain that Rajasthan is going to have a Congress government. The other three states we were settled a long time back. Let's see where this is going to shape up. 112 for the Congress party in Madhya Pradesh, 107 for the BJP. We're going to take a break. On the other side, who knows, we may have more clarity on both of these states.